All right, I am here today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from all over YouTube land. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on. If you are coming in for the very first time, this channel right here is to help motivate, educate, and inspire you to go next level in your travel business. So this is a special edition. This show right here is called Let's Talk Travel with HOA. I love the opportunity to really have a chance to interview so many different business partners, travel business owners, to be able to tell their story, and we get to learn and glean from their experiences. So I created this as a way to get to know the people in our industry, to help so many people in the industry of travel. And today is a very special edition. It's called From the Classroom to the Beaches and the Banks. Doesn't that sound great, ladies? From the classroom to the beaches and the banks. So before I introduce these beautiful ladies, I really want to talk about educators. You know, we all know that as we grow up and throughout our lifetime, that educators play a very integral role in how we grow and how we develop and how we see the world. And so they've been, you know, a great impact and influence in many of our lives. And so today I want to bring, you know, educators or people that have been in education, what all their experiences, to talk about all the things that they have experienced, how they have skill sets that they have developed because of education, and how they've been able to transfer all of those skills in the industry of travel. So we really want to help many of you who've been in this business for a while, and maybe you feel stuck. And then there are those of you who are in education or have been in education, and you're looking at the travel industry as something that you can actually do. So this is a great industry to be in. It's an $8 trillion industry, projected to grow to $15 trillion in the next 10 years. So why not get a little bit of that and monetize on what you and the world are doing anyway. So thank you so much, everyone, for being on. So I would like to introduce some of these beautiful ladies that are on with us today. So I'm going to start out with for Neshea. If you can introduce yourself. Did I say your name right or wrong? I'm not even sure.
Neshea.
Neshea. Okay, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, right? Where you're from, what you're currently doing now, but how long you been in education, and why did you choose the travel industry to really work it and be successful in it? So go ahead, and we're going to have to start with you.
Okay, good afternoon, and thanks for having me, HOA. I appreciate being able to share some of these gems with your audience and with your guests. So my name is Neshea Griffin, and I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I've lived here in Orlando, Florida for the past 20 years. So I have been an educator since I came to Florida. I was educated in Pennsylvania at Carlow University, and I came here in 2003. Pretty much to pursue my career in education. I was an elementary education teacher, ranging from grades 2 through 6. And I, done that for a number of years here in Orange County, Florida. And our public school is like one of the third largest in the United States. I then transferred those skills that I honed in the classroom to becoming a district administrator. So I wrote curriculum, I had a lot of professional development opportunities and things of that sort. I live here with my family, my husband of 28 years, and my 3 sons who are older, but they're not littles anymore. But when we came here, it was really the opportunity to move out of Pittsburgh into an environment that I thought would be better for my family. So again, Orlando, first travel destination in the United States right now, #1. Everyone comes here. So as I've lived here, I've always been the person in my own family to kind of organize trips and family reunions and things like that. And that was while I was teaching. And so if I look back to say, what were some of the things that I learned in the classroom or honing my skills as an educator that I was able to transfer to my own travel business, which I am an independent travel agent. And so I have my business, which is GriffinsGetawayTravelGroup. And I did that with the encouragement of my dear sister friend, Tonya. And I started that in 2021. So one of the things for me is I had a health emergency with my back. I had a surgery. And so although I was still working at the district level and not in classrooms day to day, I still had a lot of traveling and things to do within my education career that really I wasn't able to do. So when that happened, I really had to sit down and think about what was something that I was, number one, interested in. When you say beaches and banks, those are my favorite B words. And another thing is that what could I use the skills that I had spent so much time and effort in honing to build and grow students to also grow my own travel business. And I would think the top three of those would be communication, organization, and also creativity. So I literally think that communication is key. And I mean communication on every level. So by my being in classrooms, the stakeholders were the students, my school administration, the parents, the community, but then moving on to being a district administrator where I was in charge of 180 elementary schools and writing curriculum. So now I have more stakeholders, and those ones are, big bosses, the administrators in the classroom, the teachers in the schools, the coaches in the schools, and still, of course, the students and the parents and the community. So I think that one of the greatest assets that teachers have is the ability to communicate with so many people at every level and exactly where those people are. So you meet them where they're at. You don't make them feel big or small. But within the travel business, I have found that to be one of my best teacher skills is that, listen, if you've never traveled, I'm not going to make you feel like, what do you mean? You don't know that you need a passport? You know what I mean? So I think that kind of communicating and being able to reach everyone and make them feel comfortable. There's no question that's a bad question. That's the same thing we say in a classroom. Organization, you have to be organized. There are so many tools out there to help with that. But if you're not an organized person, this can make you crazy. And remember, you're responsible for someone's beach or, honeymoon or some type of vacation with their family. And that's very important for them. So it's important for you to kind of reach into those organization skills and pull everything you have. And that comes from even, doing presentations and having the ability to say, okay, I'm going to culminate all this information and send it to you. So although it's still communication, you have to be organized in which to do it well. And creativity, I think that if you're a creative person, you can pretty much hit the ground running with anything you do, but it's definitely very transferable from classroom onto travel business. So my creativity has allowed me to individualize personal gifts for my travel clients, build different things with Canva and, order things that kind of pop and get people's attention. But again, going back to communication, because once you get their attention, you need to talk to them. You need to be able to sell yourself and sell the reason that they should trust you with their important vacation or with their important destination in their lifetime with their families.
Ooh, you said a mouthful, but they are really wonderful things because I have some business partners who are in education, and it was not hard at all for them to come over, look at the information, take it in, learn it, and pretty much very bold in not having the experience in travel and just be able to literally jump in and book a trip. So I do recognize you guys have skill sets that are already aligned, with what we do in the travel industry. It's just different information. But our information is fun, right? It's great. Everybody's happy when they go or when they come back. So thank you for sharing that with us. So Tonya, how about you? What has your story been like?
Oh my goodness. So that's a hard act to follow, but I can follow it. Absolutely. So I've been in some form of education and working with children as long as I can remember, to be honest with you. I was that girl that was the babysitter. I was, from being a teenager, I was always babysitting. And so formally, it just made sense to go on and become an educator. And so just like Neshea, I went to Carlow University to, get my formal education in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am from Pittsburgh. I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am married. I celebrate 23 years next weekend. So yeah, that's pretty exciting as well. We have 4 children and a new grandson. So he's a year old. He is literally my why now in this business. He keeps me going, and I'm excited to be able to share the world with him. So that is just, profound for me at this point in my life. But to go back into, just my experience. So I went to Carlow University, got my degree in elementary education. So I was certified to teach K-6. And then I also went back and got a master's degree in professional leadership. And so for me, it was, how do I marry these two things together? That was always something that I was searching for. How do I take education and leadership and make them work together? Because I know that all things work together for the good of those who love him. So I keep that in my mind, in the front of my mind. And so I moved to Charlotte. I thought that I was at the end of my education. I knew that I was sort of at the end. I've primarily taught 3rd to 5th grade reading, which is a really challenging subject to teach children. Math is a universal language. Everybody can learn math, right? Reading is something different. But I've always been a reader and love reading. So I was really passionate about making sure that my learners knew how to read. So I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina 8 years ago, again, with the idea in mind that this may be my very last year, but I'm really not sure. So I taught 5th grade my first year, and then 4th grade my second year. And I knew that second year that I was close to the end of it. So fast forward to COVID. Oh my goodness. This opportunity was brought to me 2 weeks before we were going to be shut down with COVID. We had no idea we were going to be shut down, but it was brought to me, and it made sense to me. I said, I've always loved to travel. I want to travel more. So why not? It made sense. It was nothing I had to think about. It made sense. Little did I know that it was going to lead to me calling Neshea and inviting Neshea to this opportunity. I had no idea. And then it was like that moment where it was like, this is that education and that leadership meeting together. And so, as a result, 2 years, 3 years now later, I've invited about 50 people personally to this opportunity, and they're doing it and they're loving it. And so how do my skills transfer here? Wow. There's that leadership, being able to have those conversations with people, communication, as Neshea stated, to be able to articulate, hey, this is what you need to, this is an opportunity. It just makes sense. Let's sit down and have that conversation about it. And I think, a lot of it is that educational piece, because I know, just like Neshea, I sat down and really learned about the travel industry. So, it's one thing to travel, but it's another thing to actually learn about it, to be a student of travel. So I sat down, and I know Neshea did as well, and became a student of travel so that I can in turn teach it. Right. And so that was everything for me, because it was taking my 2 passions, travel and teaching, and marrying them, and then being able to lead people. So like I said, it all made sense. I had no questions about whether this was going to be that thing. My travel business is Taylor Luxury Travels. So I do want to, put that out there. And my goal is to always just make someone's dream come true. There are a lot of people who want to travel. They don't know where to start. And so that is where that becoming a student of travel, you get to teach people how to do those things. So I would say communication, also being a learner, because every educator is a learner. You have to be. So being a student of travel, and in turn being able to teach it. And I guess I would say another skill, the organization, like Neshea stated, is everything. It is absolutely everything, because we have access to every supplier in the world. How do you organize all of that information? right? If you're not an organized person, you'll be all over the place, and so I know that Neshea is an amazing travel advisor. So I know that she can book a trip in 5 minutes. That organization is what allows us to be able to do that, right? You can literally, anywhere in the world, you can say, hey, if you want to go here, in 5 minutes, I can have a quote for you. But it's because, that organizational skill that we have.
I love it. Listen, and it's so true. And I'm a forever learner. I was never in education, but I love learning. So one of the first things I did when I came into the industry was to study my business. I spent weeks, hours. I never occurred to me about money. Many people come into the industry and they're worried about their upfront costs, what it's going to cost them monthly. But when you're in education and when you understand that your product is travel, you have to learn how to be business owners. You need to learn how to navigate through the system. So that way you can actually deserve to earn the income. It's very lucrative in this industry. And one of the first things that I would say is being educated in the travel industry is a superpower in what we do. Because once you learn it, you cannot unlearn it. And then once you know it, you can help so many people who didn't know that you can go to locations that don't need passports. You think that people know certain things, they really don't. So we play such a valuable role for so many people out there. So we can't assume that everybody is like us who know how to travel, who've been traveling, or assume that people know how to make money in travel. And so I think what both of you said are just wonderful assets. I look at every educator now like saying, oh my gosh, you're in education, but please add this to your repertoire of your, superhuman abilities, because teachers, you guys do so many amazing things throughout the day, not just at work, but when you're off work. Thank you for sharing your stories of how you basically started. But let me ask you this. I know we all have a reason why you started. It just made sense. But being in the business, we all know that we grow, right, in this industry because there's so many aspects of it that we wouldn't know until we get in it and work it. So how has your why changed from the day that you said, yes, it makes sense, I can do this, to where are you at today in your passion and your why of what you can do for yourself and your family? So I'm going to start with Neshea. Go ahead and share with us your why for today.
So Hawa, I like that question. My why has pretty much remained pretty the same, but now that you say it, I guess it has probably elevated to another level. So I also do have a degree in career and technical education, a master's degree. And so when you think about careers, and I really never even thought about that until you just posed that question, I, got into this because I have been traveling my whole life since I was, 13. My grandma took me to Europe because she was an educator and they had a class trip or a group trip to Europe. So again, like travel's been in my blood, in my system, in my family. I never thought about it as a career until Tonya introduced it to me. And I said, oh, and then like you're saying now, I thought, hey, this is something I already like. This is something I already do. And this is something that I have a lot of transferable skills to apply to. So that was my initial why. Why not almost? Like you already have everything here for you, just take this on. My why now has expanded to, guess what? Having this travel agency since 2021, July, I have made a lot of money helping other people fulfill their dreams. And so that's always going to be a very part that's very near and dear to my heart. Like you said, as educators, we are continuous learners. And I think when you think about that, in this, I have to constantly train. I have to do seminars. I have to do, trips to kind of expand my own knowledge, to find out what's current, what's best for my clients. And, when you're booking trips for them, I feel like I'm going on the trip, even though I'm not. So I think it just kind of keeps you alive in that wanting and that urge to continue to learn, to be better, so that you make sure that you're getting and providing the best for them. So right now, my why is definitely this can provide for your family. So like, again, it was in your heart to do it, being a service-centered person. As an educator, it definitely matched up. You love to travel. The benefits are great. But now the why is, guess what? This is also beneficial to your family and to what you can bring to the table in your own household.
I love that, knowing that we can be so successful in it, but then we can also help somebody else. And the thing about it is, many people start at different levels. And I think God gives us certain skill sets and a certain passion that is already exists within us. Now we get to really utilize that, at its fullest potential. And then now we can really help the next person who's starting out really as a brand new baby. But that in this industry that you actually can help them if they were to do certain things and get to enjoy it and watch their growth. And it really fulfills that part of us that has that need to help other people. But, in the industry of travel is so different than just in education. So I see here is like, wow, you can really help that person in its totality. So that's very, very exciting. So thank you for sharing that. And how about you, Tonya? How has it shifted for you?
Wow. So, I came in thinking I wanted to not even book travel for other people. I came in wanting to, travel for myself. And for me, it made sense. It's like, you want to travel. I'm going to travel anyway. So now I can travel at a higher level, right? Or I should say at a higher volume, because that was literally my reason. That was my why when I started. But when I found out that, I can help so many people with this opportunity, it just made sense to continue to share. And so that's my why shifted to being able to help others. And then I had the grandbaby. So then that was another shift, right? So, and then as Neshea stated, when you see how much money is here, that you have access to make, because there is no ceiling. Right? There are no limits. So when I saw that I can do what I love and make money, my why shifted there. And here's the why. When I think about being an educator, I know I spend a lot of years saying that, we just never get paid what we deserve. We never get paid what we're worth. Educators are amazing. We birth doctors and attorneys and, all these people who are paid 4 or 5 times more than what we make, right? And so for me, it was, here is an opportunity to actually make what I deserve, right? And so my shift, happened there, and let me go back and make sure I help others do the same exact thing. So those are my shifts in my why.
Love it, because you nailed it, and for me, as being a nail technician, I feel like I work really hard throughout the day, every day, but I really don't feel like I get paid for what I do, because I don't understand how is it I'm spending and I'm putting 110% in my hours in one day. I'm educated, I'm this, I'm that, but somebody else who's also put in the amount of years and working all these years, but they get to make 300, 500,000. Here I'm barely making 100,000 and I'm tired. And it's just like, it's not fair sometimes, right? And it only is opportunity. We don't have the right vehicle. We have not been introduced to the right opportunity. And when travel was introduced to me, much like you, Tonya, I was the same way. I want to travel more, and I definitely want to earn commission on what I'm doing. And I love to be able to save. And guess what? That all works really, really well. But when I realized that I can actually earn 6 figures doing this, and there is no cap to my 6 figures, and then I can help people without an education just as much as I can help somebody with a master's, from all walks of life, to be able to earn it as much as we all can earn it, and know that we can do this, and we're not just saying it just to get you in, but we know it's evidence out there. And so it's just the great equalizer.
Yes.
The great equalizer. And it's just very addicting to see people growing at different levels. So thank you for sharing that. Definitely mine has shifted just like yours, Tonya, and how we deserve more. Ladies, don't we? Yes, we deserve more. So let's talk about people who are looking at this opportunity and they're watching this. And we both come across, all three of us come across people that we can see from the outside of their abilities, their capabilities. We believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And people have fears of working this business. How would you help them to really alleviate those fears so they can just at least give this opportunity a fighting chance, right? Not to just hop in and hop out, but to truly overcome these fears that someone may have, right? Because you guys are experienced, you've been in education. I know you've been around children that come from different backgrounds with fears, right? So how have you been able to really overcome your fears, but also help other people to say, you know what, you can do this? So I just would love to hear your thoughts on that. So we're gonna start with you, Neshea.
So it's very interesting because I have a very easy answer. So for me, I just have my own independent travel agency. So I'm not on the business end. So anytime I am, dealing with my clients and anyone piques any interest to say, how did you become a travel agent? And, I was thinking about it or I was interested. I just send them right to Tonya because she's such a great leader. And she has, like she said earlier, married those two skills together so well that anyone who has an interest in the business, I know that if I send them her way, that between her and Baron, they will have those people ready to go. I think that when you talk about fear, it's funny, I just sent a meme maybe 3 days ago, and it was kind of like, not that I think that I'm moving in fear, but at this point in my life, I'm about to turn 50 in January of next year. And I'm just like, I am getting every opportunity that is for me, and there is no waiting. Like I'm here for it. You want me to do your wedding? Let's go. You understand? There's nothing that's too big that I can't do and that I can't do well, because again, I'm focused on keeping myself well educated in this, and that I know that I am the best travel professional and the best travel agent that I can be. So if someone gives me a chance, then forever on we'll be, rocking together at the beaches.
I love it. Yeah. So the fears really be competent. The fears come from not having the skill sets, and you don't know. It's okay to start out having the fear, but you know that you're going into an industry that all they do is push education, right? And developing your skill sets, webinars. I mean, they have a turnkey opportunity where you can come in, plug in, and there's nobody watching over your shoulder, like you should do this and you should do that on a timely manner. So, once you're educated, we can absolutely do everything. So I'm glad that you shared that, because just learn it, right? So how about you, Tonya? What are your thoughts about that, overcoming people's fears?
Wow. So I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum with that. I'm afraid my fears drive me. Right. So the fear of being complacent and staying in a classroom for 30 years to get this great pension when you retire, right? That you can't live off of. That was a fear for me. So that drove me to explore something different. So for me, if a fear comes, it drives me. If I'm afraid that I'm not going to provide my client with the best product, that fear is going to drive me to go and research for the best product. So for me, it's a little different. And when in terms of like when I'm talking to other people about this opportunity, I tell them to lean into those fears, because there's something there for you, right? There's something about those fears. There's something that you need to tap into, and that you need to overcome that in one way, shape, or form. So, and a lot of times it's just for me, like talking to people, and as Neshea stated, like she brings them, and she says, hey, this person is interested. And if they're fearful about, whether it is, messing up someone's trip, or fearful about whether or not they're going to make money, I literally just take them by the hand, meet them where they are, and let them know, more importantly, because we all need each other, to be honest, and just let them know we're here for you. We're here to support you, whatever it is, we're available. And that's just it. That's what I love about this business, because unlike a lot of other businesses, and Neshea can attest to this, in education, sometimes the teacher who had the best lesson plans, the best bulletin boards, the most behaved classroom, a lot of times they may not want to share how they got to that place. The difference here in travel is that you find something great, you do a great job. Neshea is one of the top earners on my team, and she shares that information. So I love here that we support one another in this travel business.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, lean into your fears. So anyone that have fears, I would have to say that a certain part of fears drive me as well, because it's the fear of being complacent, just like you, the fear of, am I going to be a nail tech for another 10 years and making this paycheck to paycheck? This is not my life. It's got to be more, and the fear of, what would happen to my children when I'm no longer here. That's a real thing. And then three of us that are on the line, we're closer to 50 than the 20-year-olds, right? When you're at 20, you're thinking 30 is old. But when we get to our 40s, we're like, oh my gosh, 50 is around the corner. And you hit 50 and you're like, man, what fear? Those fears have held me back all these years. Now is the time, right? I need to make sure that the fears, I overcome them head on. And once you overcome them together, right, with a team of like-minded individuals like ourselves, we know that we are unstoppable. And this industry wants to pay us unlimited streams of income. So it's great to be a part of what it is now. So this is good. Now I'm going to segue into the question. So why travel and why now? Why do you think this is the industry to be in if you are in education? Right? If you are in education, because today is about educators, if you are in education in any form or in the industry, if you used to be in education and you are not anymore, so why would you recommend this is the time to start their travel business right now? Go ahead, Neshea.
Well, I think that, if you even look at any of the news or any of the stats on travel, it's grown so much even after the pandemic. So if you're wondering why would I do this or how does this grow for me? So with my travel agency, I know a lot of times I get people and they think, oh, if I get a travel agent, I have to pay you and that's going to cost. And, they don't truly understand that travel is already built into commissions are already built into travel. And so you are actually paying someone anyway, you're just not getting the great service that you actually deserve. When I think back to my years in education, the one thing that I can say for anyone who's a teacher or an administrator or just in that network of people, how great I still have, of course, some of those contacts because I don't burn any bridges, but how great could your life be when you're in a school that has at least 30 to 50 other people who may be already traveling? We know break, we're already doing.
Uh-oh.
Hey, that's okay. She'll come back in. Let's talk to you because we're doing this live and the weather is kind of raining and where I'm at. So who knows? So let's talk about you and why do you think travel and why now?
Oh my goodness. So just to add on to what Neshea already started talking about, everyone's traveling. If they're not, they want to. And then when you think about the projection of travel right now, it's an $8.1 trillion industry projected in the next decade to be 15 trillion. So there's that part. Also, why wait? The time is now. We are right now looking at a recession, we're knee deep in it, or we're starting to be. Look at your milk prices, you look at your gas prices, you're looking at all of those things. And also 2024 money is not going to be the same money as 2023. So we have to get ahead of our finances, if you will. And then when you're thinking about education as an educator, you don't want to wait for that to retire. You want to start capitalizing on income now to supplement what your retirement is going to be. So if and it's not too late, whether you're starting in education or you're at the end or the middle or the end, the time is now to tap into this amazing industry.
And you're so right. One stream is just not enough. Warren Buffett says, never rely on one stream of income. You must invest to create a second source. The second source is travel, travel, travel. And like Neshea was saying earlier, you know, everyone you know is traveling. It's an $8 trillion industry. So I'm going to let Neshea finish her thoughts because she got out a little bit due to internet, right? But we keep on, the show keeps going. Go ahead, Neshea. Finish it up.
Sorry for that interruption. My internet did drop. My husband let it yell out, so I knew it was the whole system. So he's about to watch football. So one thing I was just going to say is, if you are in a classroom, if you're a current educator, optimize your position. You are already working before school and after school. Why not use that network of people? Everyone is traveling at spring break. Everyone is going somewhere to visit for the holidays. So these are things that, as a travel advisor, you would just already be like, who isn't already, you know, your friend, or, you know, your some kind of connection, whether it's on your own grade level, whether it's, you know, with coaches in the school. You have a knowledge of so many individuals that you could literally say, hey, if you're traveling, I'd love to plan that for you. There are very few times that I meet anyone that I talk to, whether I know them, whether they're connected through somebody else, whether they're provided to me by word of mouth, or if I meet that say, oh yeah, sorry, we already have a travel agent. You know, there are a couple that do, but that comes up very few and far between. And so there literally are people out there that need someone to manage their travel in a way that they can use that as a service. You provide a service, why not provide a service in that way?
Oh, you brought a great point. Educators, you are around people, students, teachers, their parents, coaches. I mean, you meet more educators, you go to conferences, you meet even more educators. So people are everywhere. Our clientele is everywhere. And, you know, that's the one thing that people always ask is like, how do I get my clients? How do I get leads? So you just answered it right there. They're everywhere. And it just works when you're in education. So let me ask you about, okay, the teacher, like you said, they're working morning, they're working nights. How about time? How can they manage to book travel or work the travel business? Because, you know, there are two sides of what we do in the travel business. One side is we sit, we learn, we book travel. The other side is we also offer the opportunity. We coach, we develop, and we lead them to help them to build their travel businesses, okay? So how can someone in education that is working in education right now fit that in to what they're doing, and they're feeling overwhelmed and they're busy and they need a second source of income? So Tonya, what would be your advice to help them to allocate their time well in the travel business while working, you know, in education during the day?
Oh, that's a great question. So the great thing I love about this is that you have no quotas. You know, you have no inventory, and you have the leisure. You can work as many hours as you want or as little as you want. You know, it just depends on how motivated you are and what your goals are. And so, and then when I think about this, and trust me, I think about it all the time, how I spent my evenings getting, you know, grading papers, making phone calls, you know, getting my morning messages together, whatever it was. I spent my evenings doing that. I spent my weekends working on my centers, right? So that I can differentiate my instruction. Sunday was probably the only day I did nothing. To be honest, when I think about that, I think about here, you know, because we have that organizational superpower, you can literally schedule out how you're going to work this business, you know, and make it work for you. If you only have an hour, you know, an hour is a powerful hour, you know, as long as you're organized. Now, you have to make those lists and, you know, be organized. But, you know, if you have 3 hours, I mean, and for me, to be honest with you, because I love travel and I love helping people, this doesn't feel like work. It's actually refreshing, you know, to, you know, outside of the classroom. And the beauty of it is something that I love and that's refreshing. And I'm getting paid for it. Yeah, I want to do more of it. Right. I think that you have to kind of challenge yourself to not do it as much because you love what you do, you know, so you have to be reasonable and say, let me take a step back from this, but it doesn't feel like work at all.
You nailed it. I concur. because it did feel of work at first when you don't know what you have, but when it becomes fun and exciting, I find myself being stuck to it and not want to get off. I'd rather work on a quote than watch a TV show sometimes because I know there's money attached to it. And I can help many people. And then, of course, helping our business partners to elevate, to the next level is a great feeling to have. So how about you, Neshea? How should people, plan their days out? How can they make this work with the hours that people tell us that they don't have?
To piggyback off of Tonya, I think that one of the things as an educator, as she reviewed, you're working in the morning, you're going to work early, in order to have your plans in order to have your center rotations and your structures in that classroom, you put a lot of time. So I think the first thing is, if you are a current educator, try to put a focus on organizing that before you jump into this, because if you are spinning out of control and using every single free hour that you have to do that, then you don't have an hour. But if you organize that, then this becomes so much easier to just fold in. Like she said, whatever your goal is what you do. Hey, I'm just going to do travel 1 hour a day. But the optimal thing is, what do you value? What do you see your worth as? So if you are an educator, there's no oath involved, but we have all dedicated so much of our own lives and personal time to those students, to that skill, to that product that we want growth. And so if you think about yourself and your life and your family at home, and you apply those same aspects, I want growth, I want to be the most skilled, and then you put that into your travel agency. Again, maybe when you start off, you're only learning something an hour, trying to reach out to people an hour. That's 2 hours out of 24. So that's, you have 22 hours left to do all the things you have to do. So it really comes down to, what do you value and how much do you want to change maybe some parts of your life to free you up to be able to travel, to be able to learn about destinations, to be able to help service other people in getting there and being able to enjoy the parts of their lives as well. So I think that it just depends on the individual. But if you have the interest, then you definitely have to have the drive to say, I'm going to organize my life in such that I know that I have at least 2 hours to pursue something that's important to me.
I love it. Sounds like discipline and consistency in the business, and you got it, right? So let me ask you this, Tonya. You've been in the industry for a while now, and I've gotten to see you and your husband grow in the industry, and I love to see you guys shine in this business. So how has the travel business changed your life?
Wow. So this is actually the first thing that my husband and I have done together. If aside from, having children, but this is the first thing that we've done together, in terms of a business, because he's a doctor by day. So it has really brought us together in a whole different kind of way. We get to travel together. We get to strategize together. We get to lead the teams together. And it hasn't always been easy, but it definitely has been so rewarding. And, this is our pillow talk, at this point, because we love it so much. Of course, it's changing our bank account. So that is important. And for him, if I could, from his perspective, it has changed me in a way that I'm happy. Right? I'm happy and I have joy. There's a difference in my Sunday, versus my Sunday when I was teaching. Right. So, and I know Neshea can, attest to this, that getting that email, checking those emails on Sunday night, and the anxiety of what may be behind that computer, I don't have that. I'm excited to open my computer on Sundays now, and so, like I said, it has, I'm able to explore the world, because the world is our classroom. So I'm able to do that and learn culture. So it has literally, it's the best thing that I've done, honestly.
I love
Yes.
it. Not having anxiety on that Sunday, because how many Sundays do we have through the year? A lot of Sundays. And then, today is Sunday and we don't have that type of anxiety opening our laptops. That's a great point to really point out. I love that. Thank you. And how about you, Neshea? How has it changed you?
So it literally has provided me with a way to help supplement. So again, going from a career in education where, not getting what I was worth, but from making $65,000 a year to not making anything after my injury, it really gave me a place to kind of land. And so, of course, my husband, provides and, does the best he can, but it is important for me to still feel like I'm contributing to our household. So I think that that's one of the things that this has allowed me to do. And it gives me, a sense of pride within myself that, I am trying. It's something that I don't have to put a lot of time to, because I already had those rhythms of checking emails constantly. And, I'm really like a phone person. I can do every single thing on my phone. I find joy in those things now. So again, I still check them. Like there's not a person that contacts me that is not, contacted within, the next 12 hours, as far as, you had an inquiry for travel, or that, you had a question about something, or, hey, our trip is scheduled for here. Is there any way, anything that they have? I'm really very accessible. And I think education taught me that. So if I could say, what am I getting from it? I'm literally getting the ability to learn more about traveling the world, to, provide information and learn. And really the learning part is the most important. Like my parents are my best travel clients and they're headed to Patagonia in November. Like that's something, again, I would have never even thought of learning about is, who's going to Patagonia. We just saw that on a Netflix special, with Barack narrating. So it's just like, okay, like those things are possible. It doesn't have to be cut and dry. It's only this. You can kind of step outside of the box of your own knowledge of travel and kind of just relearn and re-enter and constantly grow yourself. So, besides the financial support, I just love that literally I have some knowledge about this and I can, let you know, and I can get you there.
I love it. I'm just giggling because somebody had asked me about Macedonia. I said, wait, where is this? And I need to pronounce it right. And there is no shame in our game because there's no way that we can know everything. But in the industry of travel, we can learn about it when we want to, and we can help people in the process and earn income and to help our families too. Think about that, right? If your mom and dad wanted to go to Patagonia and they needed to ask somebody else, why not their daughter?
Exactly.
Why not let their daughter, who is a professional, and to make income, knowing that you'll be able to give your parents the best experience and the best care. And
right.
That's amazing. So thank you. I love this segment. This is wonderful. So we're starting to close out this segment today. So I want to say thank you again for both of your time. It was so wonderful to getting to, Neshea and Tonya for, just coming up with this idea to help more educators, people in education. There is a need, and we need people like us to be, the warriors, right? To go out there and to share and to help to those people who don't know that they can. No, you absolutely can do this, and you don't have to do this alone. This business is not about an I mentality. It's a what? Team mentality, right? And we can all make money together. There's too many people out there to help. So let's close this out by just getting each one of you, all the things that you've shared with us today and all your experience in life and in the travel industry. What would be your 3 advice? And it's okay if both of you have same advice, but from the bottom of your heart, sharing with the audience who is watching, what would be your 3 advice, how they should jump into this opportunity and how they can actually be successful in this industry of travel? I'm going to start with you, Tonya.
I was first and foremost, thank you so much, HOA, for putting this together and allowing us this platform to share. This means a lot. And this is just, what we do. We want to share with other people. That's our heart's work as educators. I would say, first and foremost, I would give this advice that it is okay to want something more. It is absolutely okay to want something more. So if this opportunity was brought to you, if you're interested in this opportunity, take advantage of at least getting the information in front of you, because it is okay to want more. It's okay to be an educator. It's okay to go after your heart's work, but it's okay to get your money as well. Right. So, we deserve it. And if you can't get it from the classroom, you can't wait for someone to value you. You have to go out and grab whatever opportunities that you can. My second piece of advice would be to not limit yourself. Take those limits off. You're not too old. You're not too tired. You're not, you're smart enough. Take those limits off and tap into what, the life that we have right now, because opportunities don't always just sit there and wait for you. Take advantage of the opportunities that come in front of you. I can't imagine if I would have passed this opportunity up, what would I be doing now? And thinking about Neshea's story, this provided a way for her. What if she would have told me no on that phone conversation? Right. And then I would say, more importantly, lean into your discomfort. Though this may be something different, something that you've never done, you have everything you need as an educator to be successful in this space. So lean in and get your money. Right? It's okay to get money. It's okay. A lot of us don't think it's okay. It's okay. We need money. There's no two ways about that.
You need money, and it's the truth. If you don't have money, you can't do the things that you love, and you can't do the things for the people that you love.
Yes,
absolutely. I love those 3 advice that you have. It's beautiful. And anyone listening, you need to write those down, right? And put it in front of you, because this is from someone that have experience in the things that she's done and is very successful at it. So that's very valuable information. So thank you so much for sharing that, Tonya. And I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to finish it out with this fireball here. I can feel her energy through Zoom, just going after it. And I love that about you. So what would be your 3 advice for anyone that is watching and really thinking, can I do this? Can I succeed in this? What would be your advice, Neshea?
So my number one advice would literally be, if it's been brought to you, it was brought to you for a reason. If you're watching HOA's channel today, that is also for a reason. There are no things that happen to us unintentionally. So there is an intentional reason that you should be kind of leaning yourself toward, hey, what is this about? If you have questions, definitely contact someone who is a business owner like HOA and Tonya. That way they can tell you more about it, so you can release those fears with information. If you ever, again, if you're looking to be a travel agent or talk to a travel agent who has had some success, like I said, I'm always open to share, but don't allow your own unknowing about something to stop your trajectory toward greatness. I think that, when I look at education, I always felt that I was trying to be the best educator that there was. You understand? I didn't want to be mediocre. I wanted my kids to have the most growth in the school. All of those things push me toward that. So when I look at this, what pushes me toward it is, again, like Tonya said, I'm able to provide some things for my family that I was not able to do. I am able to travel more. I have other travel opportunities that I would have never had I not been a travel advisor or a travel professional. Familiarization trips, things of that sort. When you talk about, hey, how are you taking advantage of the person you are or the career that you look forward to? I am doing that not only with conferences and learning, but literally with physical experiences. And so those experiences are important. So I guess the general advice is just to kind of take a step on faith. Remember, the things that aren't seen does not mean that they're not there. So, this is being brought to you for a reason. It's resonating with you for a reason. So go ahead and step out on that and just, take your time. your goal is your goal. No one is setting you up to say, oh, if you don't reach this point, you're no good. Hey, some people start off and say, my goal is to book 2 trips a year for someone, so there's no ceiling to where, oh, you're not great if you're growing and you're doing it for yourself. So I think first and foremost, make sure you're doing it for yourself and that you have the passion to help others while also providing for your family in a way that maybe one career is not allowing.
I love it. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much again, Neshea, for sharing your wisdom and your experience in the travel industry. And Tonya, again. So if you're watching this video and Tonya shared this with you, their teams are sharing this with you, somebody shared this video with you because they thought enough about you to not let you miss an opportunity of a lifetime. Watch it, get back with the person who sent you this video. That person is the person that you should partner up with, because when you join in our travel agent community, our travel business tribe, you are in this tribe with us forever, and we are along for the journey together with us. So there is no job too small, right? No journey too big that we can't do this with each other. So again, get back with the person who invited you and tell them, you know what? I'm going to bet on me. I'm going to listen to the advice that I just heard from Tonya and I just heard from Neshea. It really kicked my behind, and this is my time to shine, and I can do this. I don't have to give up anything. I can and deserve more. I should want more for my family, and travel more for less and elevate our lifestyle. So thank you again so much, everyone, for watching and chiming in. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share this video with other people that you think would really help them to make a decision of a lifetime. And again, thank you so much. You guys have an amazing day. And this is just a Sunday, a regular day for us. So this is a great day. So you ladies, have an amazing day. Take care.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So much.
You're so welcome.